Welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. Thank you for watching. We appreciate it. In case you haven't noticed, it's hard to trust anything you hear right now. We've heard you. We're grateful that you trust us, and we will try to be worthy of your trust. We want to begin tonight by assessing some of the things no doubt you have heard about last week's presidential election. There are conflicting versions of virtually every part of that story. But as of right now, here's what we think we know. For much of election night, Donald Trump seemed to be leading in a number of key swing states. Then early Wednesday morning, he began to fall behind. That trend continued more or less for several days. On Saturday, the media declared Joe Biden the president-elect. Biden quickly accepted that judgment. The Biden campaign now has something called the Office of the President-elect. It sounds official, which of course is the point of setting it up. And in the end, it's possible it will be official. If, after all the questions have been answered, it becomes clear that Joe Biden is the legitimate winner of the presidential election, we will accept that, and we'll encourage others to accept it too. We're Americans first. We want what is best for this country. We want our system of government to continue. Whether it does continue, though, depends in part on how we proceed from here. As of tonight, tens of millions of Americans suspect that this election was stolen from them. That means we now live in a country where a large percentage of our population no longer believes that our democracy is real. That is sad. It is also dangerous. It could easily get worse. What we're doing in response is hardly the solution. It is making our country much more volatile. It is setting us up for something bad.
I'm mute, right? Muted. Okay, I'm back. All right, I'm so sorry, man. I am so sorry. Conte reporting. Now this sound. Give me a sound. Stop talking to yourself, Marcus. It's creepy. I'm back. You know what I did? I got a plug. I forgot to plug in the I forgot to plug the mixer in. So what was I saying? So I was saying Tucker Carlson lays out the shit, right? He lays it out like nobody I've ever seen, right? Definitely highly recommended. I'll drop it again in the chat. I apologize for the mute, right? So Marcus Conte reporting. Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday to you. And to my surprise, at least this report is surprised. What the hell's going on? A million Trump strong marching the streets of Washington, D.C. Whoa, that wasn't expected. I thought only the radical left does that. I thought only the crazy kooky left, the crazy kooks from the left do that. And the Trump people, the salt of the earth, America. Middle America sits on their couch on a Sunday and Saturday and waits for change to come down the pipe. Right? Well, that's not what's going on at all. It seems like bigly numbers have turned out for Trump for whatever it's worth. Can it turn the election? Did we see election rigging, as Tucker Carlson has eloquently mapped out for us and told us that has existed? And I've been telling you for 3.5 years that the elections are rigged, that you can't trust it, but here we are, and I'll give you what I've seen. Thank you, Bill West, dropping many clips. Others have dropped many clips that I found online, and we'll take a look at the MAGA Million March on D.C. I believe it's happening today. It was a little bit of a stir up last night. Antifa is there. Antifa is on the ground. agitating the high hell out of it. Proud Boys on the ground. So Trump himself did a victory lap. He went up. He drove up Pennsylvania Avenue in the motorcade. Wow, fucking Trump. You got a glimpse of Trump, right? Everybody's down in D.C. I missed it. I'm sorry. I'm busy starting a life in suburbia. I'll be back. But for now, we see it all. The mind is still there. I'm still here. I'm still with you. So again, that monologue was by Tucker Carlson.
In a democracy, you cannot ignore honest questions from citizens. You're not allowed. You can't dismiss them out of hand as crazy or immoral for asking.
Right.
You can't just cut away from coverage you don't like. You can't simply tell people to accept an outcome, because force doesn't work in a democracy.
Right.
That's dictatorship. In a free society, you have to convince the public of your legitimacy. You have to win them over with reason.
Rand says, hey, they cheated their own Bernie. And what makes you think they wouldn't cheat Trump? Damn right.
Democracy is always a voluntary arrangement. Telling voters to shut up is never enough. So in this case, tonight, there's only one way to lower the national temperature and unite the country. We need to find out exactly what happened in this election.
Amen, right? How do you do it, though? How do you find out, Tucker? How do you find out exactly what happens? If the president of the United States can't even find out what the hell happened, specifically, right? We need specifics. We need to know where the cheating occurred and such. Hey, Batman, come here. Batman, come here. Batman's scratching at the door. We need to know exactly what happens, as Tucker Carlson has said. So good morning, everybody. Kick back and enjoy the show. MarcusConte.com. Hold on a second. I gotta get my fat black cat. Granny Cat's downstairs. Don't worry about it. I'm not siding with the black cat any more than I am Granny Cat. It's just Granny Cat is downstairs and we're up a flight of steps. So only the fat black puma cat, known as Batman, can make it up the steps. He's about this cat. I think he's losing a little weight now because he's in the country and he's running around a little bit. And he was getting fat and lazy. I felt so bad for him. He was confined to a little one-bedroom apartment, a lot of junk in there, right? And he only had like a few spots, right? Him and the white cat fighting over the sunspot. Now they got a lot of space, right? That's so me too, you know. I'm dealing with space. Space is difficult, you know. Space, living in more than one room is difficult when you haven't done it in a long time. You tend to do everything in one room. When you live in one room in the big city, you eat in one room, you sleep in one room, you do your show in one room. Everything's in the fucking room, man. But here you have other rooms. You have the ability to spread yourself out, even outside and backyard and man cave garage. So we'll take a look at all this stuff. Kindly become a Patreon of this channel. I'm not going away. We might, YouTube seems hell bent on erasing any history of pro-Trump or non-biased Trump. I'm not even pro-Trump. I'm non-biased Trump. This particular network seems to be hell bent. This platform seems to be hell bent on erasing the past and procuring the future, so that you know that our elections are the most honest and integral anywhere in the world, because we say so. See, we don't do evidence anymore. We don't in our society. Our government doesn't do evidence. Remember when not Pompeo, but that other guy, the other CIA spook said in Congress, "Sir, I don't do evidence." Right? He was the director of the CIA, John Brennan. Remember John Brennan said that? We don't do evidence. When Trey Gowdy grilled him in Congress, we don't do evidence. Right? So evidence is the fact. Whereas what they do is spycraft. They do a version of tradecraft. They propaganda. They repeat the same lies over and over again until at least the tipping point, a 50% majority of the people swallow the poison. And that's what we have right now. We have probably in the bowels of the Pentagon deciding what we want the American people to know, right? What is in our best interest to get them to shut the fuck up, put on a mask and stay away from each other and don't talk. Don't speak, don't sing, don't do anything, right? Because you're going to you're going to get the bug. You're going to get the virus. So that's where we are right now. You are there. And so I guess my point was become a Patreon of this channel by hitting these are banned videos, but Patreon over here, the very nice chick with the glasses on, you whack that one, you become a Patreon, or you contribute directly through YouTube. Again, thank you, Bill West, for your clips today. Good stuff. I don't know what I said before because I was muted, right? But I gathered up a lot of stuff and a lot of videos that we'll show today. I highly recommend that you watch the whole 20 minutes of Tucker Carlson. He lays it out. He wrote his script, or whoever wrote the script for him did it. But before we do that, I want to tell you a very interesting story. As I left New York, but I'm actually within driving distance of this. I might actually go and check it out. Gangster Dutch Schultz. Ooh, this is good. $150 million treasure is supposedly buried in upstate New York. Oh my God. Break out the fucking shovels, man. American gangster Arthur Dutch Schultz. Fellinghammer. Well, it sounds like a German. Fellinghammer. And a rendering of his steel box and its contents. Whoa, so you got some cash, buried coins, right? Upstate New York, home of Buffalo Wings, Niagara Falls, and a gangster's buried treasure. Bro, this is fucking break out the shovels and get to fucking upstate New York, man. Phoenicia. Yes, legend has it that the Catskill town of Phoenicia conceals a trove of money. Now, my mother had a house in a town right next door, Margaretville, right? And I lived right next to Phoenicia. I drove through it 100 times, right? It's a little town, beautiful. Like, I wanted to say shitty town, but it's a little town with huge mountains all around. It's actually quite beautiful. It's a little ski town in upstate New York, Catskills. And allegedly, Phoenicia conceals a trove of money, bonds, jewels, and once belonged to New York City's bootlegger, Dutch Schultz. The criminal's riches have been hunted for more than 90 years, but after a recent breakthrough, two intrepid men believe they are about to hit the jackpot. Wow. So anyway, let's look at the pictures, man. Oh man, fucking look at this. $10 pieces of gold. What's this? Located on Klein Island in the middle of Seneca River. Treasure hunters Ross and Grace Getman believe Schultz and his band of thugs used this isolated, ransacked cabin as a secret lair to avoid cops. Wow. So it's a little island. So they're out there treasure hunting. And I hope they don't find it, man. I hope they go back here. This is the guy right here. This is Schultz. All right. German dude. Made his money in bootlegging, and there's the cash. There's the cash, man. So hey, man, break out the shovels. Google Map Phoenicia, and I'll meet you there, man. We'll break out we'll go door to door. Excuse me, can we dig in your basement? Find out when people bought their homes. Because gangsters are fucking shady, right? They bury. I bet you if that was where they were in Phoenicia, I bet you there's bodies buried up there too. So let's dive in, man. Good morning, everybody in the chat. I apologize for the mute at the beginning. If you're here, that was my bad, right? I forgot to plug some shit in. So this is the official. Right, 306 to 232. New York Times has called the remaining states for both Biden and Trump. North Carolina went for Trump with 100% of the vote. Now they're down to 98%. But the other networks have it at 100%. So North Carolina has officially been called for Trump, and the other one was Georgia. And they're saying that, it's incredibly close how out of 2.5 million votes, only 2,000 separate them. So almost in every swing state, here's 20,000 votes in Wisconsin. In Michigan, maybe 100,000 votes separate them. In Pennsylvania, extremely close, right? All these races are very close. So what Tucker Carlson is saying, this business that somehow Joe Biden landslided this election is really not the case at all. In the close calls, in the close states, less than a couple of, it's a few thousand votes out of millions and millions of votes that separate the difference between Trump and Biden. And the official narrative is now, and you must accept that official narrative. You must accept it, or you must now bow to the Democratic Party and eliminate all possibilities, all talk. This is nonsense talk that Trump actually won and Biden lost. Right? That's what you're required to now swallow, according to the fake news. Right? But we did see that some patriots, some Americans, are not taking it. They're not taking it sitting down. Right? They're out there in the streets. To my surprise, anyway, I didn't think they'd get off their ass. Right? But they are. They are. They're a million. I don't know if it was a million, but a couple of tens of thousands, right up there with Antifa, battling it out in the streets of Washington, D.C. this weekend, yesterday and today. I'll see what happens today. Are on the streets and voicing their opinion, voicing themselves to the American people, saying, no, we're not taking this sitting down. We are fucking not taking this shit sitting down. Right? And that's inspiring. Right? That's inspiring whether you like it or not. I mean, Antifa can even inspire you as well. Right? Antifa can even inspire you as well. I got to let the black cat out. Hold on a second. I'm so sorry, man. So just chill 1 second. I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm right here. Get out. Get out. Get out. I'm still here. I am here. Sorry about that. Black cat needs attention because he doesn't know how to get out of the room. I got a door open for him. There's a little crack in where he can sneak out, but there's two ways to get out. So anyway, so that's the official number. Swallow it, motherfucker. Swallow it. 306 to 232, whether you like it or not. Right? Now, if you do the math, right, all the states that Biden flipped, Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Georgia. If Trump can legally flip all those back, the numbers would be something like 280 Trump, 240 Biden. So is the legal battle worth it? I think so. What about Nevada? Nevada was, again, you gotta challenge the numbers. As Tucker Carlson said, and we all saw, the night of election night, Trump was winning bigly in all these places, and all of a sudden they started to these extra ballots started to fly in from nowhere, and that's what changed the election. Right? Where are the ballots? Can we count them? Can we see them? We live in a place now where evidence, that would be the evidence, right? That would be the evidence. Show us the evidence, and we'll believe you. That's all. But we live in a time now where you're not allowed to see the evidence because you're supposed to bow the fuck down to us, right? Do what we tell you to do, right? Do what we tell you to do, right? Or else, right? And that's what's going on right now. So let's look at some of. This is also a side note before we get into the particulars here. Trump and family looking at big payday on speaking circuit. So you can see how the media is now starting to, even the New York Post is starting to spin Trump's life after his presidency, which they anticipate will be January 20. So you remember when Hillary took all the money? Oh, fucking Hillary was making $250,000 a speech. Remember when Bernie Sanders was pointing out that she sits down at Wall Street and she gives a speech and they pay her $250,000 for what she says and nobody really gives a shit what she says? They're buying influence. They're peddling influence. So the same Trump, rather than disavow that strategy, that phenomena of giving very expensive speeches, right? He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it right there. So the 45th president of the United States will easily receive, get this, $1 million and likely more for speeches in the U.S. Wow, he could rake in even more overseas. The site maintains. Citing bookers who help Celebrate get such deals. The president can also expect first-class digs and likely some golf trips thrown in. So far, it doesn't appear that any talent agencies have signed any members of the family, yet with the president staring down at least $400 million in personal guaranteed debt, he'll welcome the cash flow. Now, Trump did favors for. I know people don't like to talk about it, but Trump did favors. Right? Trump does favors. All politicians do favors. It's just not for the people that they did favors for before that president got in. Now, so Trump will call in his favors, and so will many of his family in the form of because you can't just pay a guy. You can't just say, "Hey, Trump, here's $1 million." Although the Saudis did that for Bill Clinton, they gave him $1 million for his birthday. I remember that. But the sneakier way, the workaround, is to have the guy show up and give a talk for an hour, and pay him $1 million. See how that works? But you're not paying to hear what he has to say. You're paying for the influence that he can deliver. So Trump's going to be good. Don't worry about it. Even Melania Trump's going to get some money. Ivanka, all going to draw bigly money. And Eric and Tiffany Trump will also make $75,000. This is in the event that Trump walks away in January. Right? So don't feel so bad for Trump. I think Trump. I'll be honest. I think Trump is going to start Trump Television, where he's going to project himself as the truth in media, the unequivocal truth in media, kind of like what Bloomberg is in the financial industry, billions and billions of dollar, industry. So if Trump could, do something along the lines of that, like become like a Fox News network, I think he'll be very successful. I think he'll be, he's the president. He's also, so I think that's the direction. Bill West says Trump has no influence. That's why he lost. No, I think he does. I think he has significant influence abroad, but that is you're right about that, and we could argue that back and forth. What type of influence does Trump have? But the point is, the bookies are already saying that he's going to draw $1 million. That's more than Obama gets. So there'll be some influence, and his influence will translate into his television, right? Because millions and millions of people in America alone want to see what Trump has to say. Right, so they'll go to his own network, right, where he broadcasts himself, right, and abroad as well. So huge potential for Trump to become a news mega star, right? So it got pretty crazy last night. So Washington D.C., if you're there and you're seeing the tensions flare between Trump supporters and opponents at D.C. protests. Oh shit. So here's some Proud Boys kicking the high fucking shit out of some Antifa guy, ready to smack his face and squirt a bomb in his face, right? So let's see some of the pictures here. Oh, yeah. So somebody zapped him. He looks like he got zapped in the eyeballs. Police wrestling a Proud Boy to the ground. Clash. All the racists are there, the black racists. It's racist. Everything is racist. They're rallying for Trump because they're racist. So stupid. So never get yourself surrounded by a bunch of racist thugs like Antifa, because they fight like dogs. You kick one, they all get up, they bark, they're loud, they're aggressive, they're violent. Don't do that. Right? That's a mistake. Confronting a mob. They like that, right? That's what they want. They want to see you. They want to see you get all worked up, so they can. Look, this guy's smiling his ass off, right? Fucking Afro she, right? And it's they're racists, man. That's all they are. They're a bunch of fucking racists. So tensions flared after dark Saturday night, right, a few hours ago, right? And one person was stabbed as pro and anti-Trump factions clashed in Washington D.C. hours after the president himself made a drive-by appearance. I got that. I'll show it. At a recent rally attended by thousands of supporters. Hard to get a real number. I would put the number. I mean, I don't know D.C. well. The images I saw were pretty impressive. All the way up and down Pennsylvania Avenue. Everywhere you looked was, red Trump. So I mean, maybe 100,000 he drew. Maybe. Somewhere more than 50,000, less than 100,000, I would speculate. I don't think it was a million, but I could be wrong. I don't know what a million. I don't know what a million looks like in D.C. unless you see an aerial shot. I know what it looks like in New York City. I could tell you if there's a million people. A million people could fit in Central Park. So well, let's just safely say he drew 100 grand, right? Which is impressive. And we'll see what happens today. One person was left critically injured. We're just starting with the bad news, the violence, because it wasn't all violent. It was actually very spirited and uplifting. The victim was taken to a trauma center, according to the spokesperson. The fight was related to ongoing protests. All right, we saw some of that. Trump says, this great fucking great tweet, Antifa scum. Antifa scum ran for the hills today when they tried attacking the people at the Trump rally because those people aggressively fought back. Antifa waited until tonight when 99% were gone to attack innocent MAGA people. D.C. police, get going, do your job, and don't hold back. Trump is accurate in saying that, right? Antifa waited until tonight. They wait till the nighttime until 95% of the law-abiding citizens are gone, right? Until the numbers dissipate. And that's when Antifa starts to antagonize and create riots and loot and break shit and burn shit. They do it in the wee hours of the night. No doubt about it. So Trump is accurate in saying that. That's based on my eyewitness observation in New York City, following Antifa to the bitter end, following them all the way to the end of their rally, and seeing when did the smashing and burning and breaking of shit start. And the truth is, it starts in the wee hours. So Trump's accurate in saying that. More Trump. Radical left Antifa scum was easily rebuffed today by big DC MAGA rally crowd, only to return at night after 99, I would say about 95% of the crowd had left to assault elderly people and families. Police get there, police got there, but late. Mayor is not doing her job. All right. What else? There's some videos. There's some video of violence. See, this is not where you want to be. That's not where you want to be. You don't want to be surrounded by a bunch of thugs, right? You're playing right into their hands, right? That's what they do. Right? Pushing a guy, like they fucking jab them, spilling beer on them. People grabbing a shot, grabbing a photograph. Oh, look, the old man's on the ground. Real fucking scumbags, right? Real scumbags, right? Taunting the guy. But the guy's, in my opinion, he's a little foolish, right? Get out of there. Don't do that. Don't do that. You're playing into their hand, and and there's always one jerk off in the crowd that wants to outdo the jerk off next to him, and you get pushed into the crowd. Right? That's what happens, man. In that case, I recommend running. Right? I've been chased and attacked and kicked and punched and swung at, many times in the street, doing this fine work, and you should too. You should definitely do the same, right? Practice fucking running, man. Good morning, everybody. Mark Conte reporting. Thank you for the for joining us. Thank you for coming. Thank you for stopping by, man, and find out what happened, what's going on in D.C. right now. Right? So here's the drive-by. Here's Donald J. Trump driving by. Does Trump have a stunt double? I don't think so. So this is up Pennsylvania Avenue, apparently, and there's Trump. Bada bing, there is Trump driving by, doing a drive-by. Is it him? Is it him? Is it him? Of course it's him. There's Trump driving by in his bulletproof truck and waving to the crowd. Trump's motorcade drove through cheering supporters at the Million MAGA March. What a gift, right? What a gift the president did for the people there. He drove by, very spirited. Good American people. He's got the military following him. There's another shot. Wow, bang. Saying thank you. Supporters gathered in Washington, D.C. ahead of a planned march to the Supreme Court. So a lot of people, let's just take in the imagery, right? Flags flying. Based on the aerial shots like this, that's not a million people. That's tens of thousands. That's tens of thousands. That's an empty street. But people are ready to march, man. People are ready. People are ready to march. Let's see what else we got, man. So here's a Fox report. Let's listen.
David Spun, who's now on the north lawn of the White House. And David, this might give us an idea in terms of just how large this crowd is. Can you hear any of the chanting and the speakers that they have set up in Freedom Plaza?
Faintly, and we are only just a couple of blocks away, but there's also a lot of construction at the White House for the inauguration reviewing stand for President-elect Biden.
So Fox couldn't even get a couple of blocks in. Well, that's unusual. So a couple of blocks full of people. It's, again, you're talking about upwards of 50,000 people in one spot.
In his family, that goes on every 4 years, regardless of what happens with the election. So you're hearing a lot of that construction, but in the distance, definitely can hear a little bit of faint excitement from that large group.
Okay, so there's people in the chat, saying Trump. People, there should be no. Somebody said Trump is the president of a bankrupt corporation. I agree. I'm not here to support Trump. I'm just here to say that half of this country believes in Trump. Probably more than half, because I think he won. I believe in him. So you have to weigh that against the people that don't believe him, and the people that don't believe in what Trump stood for. Well, what do they stand for? This is objective journalism. I'm giving you the facts, and I, based on my experience, like everybody else, but my experience getting out into crowds and feeling it out and seeing it, I could tell you that this is real. This is not bullshit. This is not pseudo gathering. This is not a pseudo rally. This is tens of thousands of people making their way to Washington, D.C. to be seen and heard. And that's the real shit. That's all we're doing here.
After all, they're going to be.
You can have your opinion. Opinions are fine, but that's what I guess my job is to stand in the middle and try to figure out what's going on. And
leaving Freedom Plaza and marching down to the Supreme Court. That's going to be away from the White House, so we're not going to hear as much of that. But Leland, President Trump went through that crowd earlier today, excited on his way to golf. There's a video of the president smiling, giving the thumbs up in the motorcade as he passed by. Several staffers here at the White House retweeting and favoriting tweets about this massive rally going.
This is very favorable spin by Fox. I'm going to play some of the not so favorable spin by ABC and Young Turks and the rest of the jackoffs who can't get it right, who can't tell the truth.
On right now in Washington, D.C., some people calling it the Million MAGA March. But as I mentioned, President Trump is golfing right now at his club in Northern Virginia. And at this point, there are still no plans to concede, no hint of any concession. Leland, yesterday he came out on camera in the Rose Garden to speak for the first time in 8 days. That is the longest time.
I watched that. There was no talk whatsoever about the election. Trump just he spoke with kind of morose too. He spoke about the vaccine that Pfizer has put together 90%. So Trump's out at the Rose Garden promoting the virus, promoting the vaccine. For your pleasure, for you, so that you can take off your fucking mask already.
Time that we've seen him since he's been president not get in front of camera and talked about Operation Warp Speed, spurred by his administration. The good news, he said that vaccines will be available to the masses by April. Now, while talking about the vaccine, he singled out New York and the state's governor, Andrew Cuomo. Listen here.
He doesn't trust the fact that it's this White House, this administration, so we won't be delivering it to New York until we have authorization to do so, and that pains me to say that. This is a very successful, amazing vaccine at 90% and more. But so the governor
from New York, she put out a statement immediately following the president's comments. If dissemination of the vaccine takes place in the twilight of a Trump administration and the president wants to play games with people's lives, we will sue and we will win.
So now the crazy lunatic Democrats on the left, after Pfizer announces, Pfizer, a reputable company, allegedly comes up with a vaccine, right, and says that we have a 90% effective rate, 90%, right, and now Letitia James is saying, a New York Attorney General is saying that. Get out of here, Batman. I got to do something with the cat. The cat. I can't let the cat in. Get out! Get out! Letitia James is saying that we're going to sue the Trump administration because we don't believe him. We don't believe now. It's like the opposite of what they've been saying all along. Vaccine. We need a vaccine. Everybody's going to die. Stay away from each other. Put your mask on. Now they got the vaccine, and you've got the kooks in New York flipping, saying, "Oh no, we're going to wait till Biden gets in, and then we'll decide." It's the opposite. See how they flipped? Trump was right about that. Trump said that the virus would go away the day after if he loses the day after the election. And so he's right. So Letitia James, I didn't like her one bit, man. She was the public advocate. She was horrible. No, she's the Attorney General.
Leland Gillian, the Trump administration continues to block a transition to the incoming Biden team. Former White House Chief of Staff and four-star Marine General John Kelly out with a harsh statement that says...
All right, so this is a little different type of news. Let's continue. I got to say, thank you, Jason Goodman at Crowdsource the Truth, was on the ground, got some great footage.
We're ready to fight you, motherfuckers!
Yeah, man.
We are the silent majority! And you're a fucking liberal! You pushed us too far!
No more!
No more bullshit!
No more!
No more bullshit!
No more bullshit!
No more bullshit!
No more bullshit!
Fair use, by the way. It's fair use. Fair use.
No more bullshit!
Fair use, Mr. Goodman. Fair use. Media.
More censorship!
No more censorship!
Good job, man. Good job being there.
No more censorship!
No more censorship!
No more bullshit!
No more bullshit!
We had it! The Patriots
So-
have had it!
So it's quite a
We don't have
bit
to be ignorant no more. We don't have to be ignorant no more because we're going to the age of Aquarius, baby. We're going to the age of Aquarius. We don't have to be an ignorant generation no more.
About Florida.
Tampa? Wow, pretty far.
Yeah, this right here. This is my leader.
Aha, and did you guys grow up in China under communism? No.
Jason Goodman asking a Chinese person, did you grow up in communist China? That's not too insulting.
Low orbiting
Uh-oh.
satellites with Elon Musk. He wants.
All right, so there's a lot of interviews here. This is pretty good. I didn't watch all of it. I just want to see the crowd size. So plenty of people marching around.
2,000 people watching. Thank you to everybody who's watching. Please
That's the
share
guy who
this-
did it, Jason Goodman.
A neighbor.
Oh, in New York? All right, thanks for stopping, man. Enjoy the day. Thank you. And you.
Had some fights up top.
Fights.
Yeah, some
So,
protesters. But it was real
so lots of people, as
All right, thanks very much.
as
Stay
Trump
safe.
even said, 99% of the people
That's
very,
stupid
very,
nonsense, and so are you. Using a fake name to promote nonsense here is going to get you blocked.
In Winnipeg.
All right, so that's one spin. Lots of people. Let's just keep trying to see the crowd size. This is Status Quo, another independent journalist. Another independent journalist on the ground in again, fair use. Fair use of your material. I don't need to. It's not. I don't need your permission. Jerk-offs like to attack you. Yeah, Goodman, that's the umbrella guy. But hey, listen, man, you do good work. You do good work. He did good work. He got his ass down there. He got his ass to D.C. and did it, man. So this, the cameraman here, the team Status Quo is not necessarily pro-Trump or they were saying they've been calling Trump a liar ever since he got there, and but also they're not much fans of Biden. And that matters because that's the angle you're watching. So a lot of people marching and talking, spirited crowd. 95% of the people, no conflict. Antifa didn't have the numbers down there. Not my pedophile. That's a good sign. That's funny for Biden. He's not my pedophile. As if he's not my president. So is this pompous? Is this meaningless or senseless to assume that Trump is going to be reelected, will be able to turn all the states legally, flip the states. I don't know. I think these people have been ripped off. I think the good people of the United States have been ripped off. I had said it way back when, and people laughed because I was supporting Bernie Sanders, when Bernie Sanders was actively being robbed. To Trump's credit, he's not going to concede. Bernie Sanders rolled over like a cheap suit. But Trump is going to walk out of office, and if he does, he takes the same seat as Bernie Sanders, really. But when the cheating was going on, that was the time to call it out. Not now. Not now. You're calling it out when it's when it's too late, right? Is it too late? I don't know. 100,000 people in Washington D.C. is a lot, but you need 100,000 in every city. You need 1 million. Remember when people marched against the Iraq War with Bush? There was millions of people. I remember New York City, there was 2 million people in the street. And that couldn't get the military-industrial complex to turn around. That couldn't get Bush to stop what he was about to do. So, just perspective, that's all. I don't know. Antifa's pretty good at, breaking shit and getting, they got the police, police reform. They got in there with police reform. So what are these clowns going to do? Not clowns. What are these people going to do, man? What are we going to get done, man? What are we going to get done? Let's flip ahead a little bit. So there is a podium of some sort, an ad in 3 minutes. Nope. We're not going to listen to you. You're going to listen to me. I am not going to listen to you. So
the powers of darkness are descending. They're saying concession, not constitution. And Lord, we know what you taught us, and we'll stick close to you. Protect these speakers, protect these organizers, protect all of you as we march and pray and joyfully celebrate. But Lord, we ask you to strengthen us in a special way for the fight ahead. It will be weeks, it may be months, but we will stand with this President, Donald J. Trump.
Nice size crowd.
We ask you to expose.
You can't really get an aerial shot of the crowd size, but maybe over here. This is good stuff. Good footage.
Keep pushing. That was the My Pillow guy. Mike Bloodbell, I think his name was.
Patriots. Go to Tierman. Thank you, Patriots. God bless Trump 2020. Oh. So there's real shit going on there. Real shit going on in D.C., man. Choppy stream. Well, you get to see it. Let's see. So a lot of speakers this time. A couple of interviews. Too many ads, man. Too many ads on this shit, man.
All too well from personal.
Too many ads. I'm skip.
They took this through philosophical foundations of.
So that's another independent reporter reporting. Who do we got here? So this is 11 hours.
Oh, I know.
So 11 hours of video. I don't know what the hell it is, but it's 11 hours of video. So you see a lot of conflict. Here's Antifa scum. Well, those are Proud Boys. I don't know.
We got to figure that out. Somebody got to air space out a little bit, right? So you're taking on my space. Hey, let me ask you this.
It's just agitators inside the crowd.
You blow your mouth on No, guys, all this fucking press over here.
So you got a lot of racist.
If I may ask, when you smoke crack, what happens? Do you get?
Oh man, you.
Uh-oh.
You will be back the fuck up on my face! Back the fuck up! Get that bitch right there! That lady right there with the red hat was kicking. She was kicking the dudes I was arresting.
And then there's the racists. The racists are saying, they agitate and then say they cry to the police, lock them up.
They could get her. Y'all could go get her right now. Y'all could go get her. If he going,
Y'all could go get her, right? But when the police are when they want the police when they come to a rally, agitate, get punched in the face, and then cry to the police, help us, right? Fuck you.
Because I keep telling them, they keep getting in our faces. When it's a 6 feet.
That's their whole strategy, man. That's the whole Antifa strategy, right? Agitate and
It's a 6 feet mandate.
no, he ain't no instigator. Y'all is. Y'all the instigator. Why you telling?
$10 million every year for his fee.
Oh, this
Why do
is.
you think that the American news media?
I guess this is. Oh, he's just pulling clips together. I guess this is just a compilation of a lot of clips.
1.2K, 500.
There's a lot of action going on, a lot of confrontation. This is the nighttime. This is, I mean, if I were suggesting anything in Washington D.C.,
Ladies and gentlemen, my mother.
we don't care what you have to say. But what I would suggest is get out there in the daytime, rally, participate, show your numbers, chant, sing, have a good time, and then get off the street. Or if the massive. Only if the mass amount of people stay on the street, the MAGA people, if they stay on the street, then you have numbers. But don't get outnumbered. Don't allow yourself to get outnumbered. Don't allow yourself.
Your parents are ashamed. You should listen. Listen, man, I've accomplished far more than you've ever accomplished in your life. You're clapping cheeks to crotch, okay?
So there's a fight. Who's fighting who? Good clean fun. Good clean fun. Oh man, see, that's what you don't want to do. You never want to fall to the ground, man. You never want to get thrown to the ground, man, because that's when you get kicked and punched and hurt. They're chanting, fuck Antifa. Throwing rocks. So I'll assume it's Proud Boys and Antifa. Notice Antifa doesn't get as bloody as the Proud Boys because they're good at it. They know what they're doing. They're professional agitators. This is fun to watch, right? It's like... Good stuff. We stumbled on this one after 11 hours of video. Fucking come on, man. Thomas Morales. Thank you, Thomas Morales, for your contribution here. Oh, so this is good stuff, man. Looks like Proud Boys pushed it off. But look, the numbers, right? Whenever there's violence and crazy shit like this, it's late at night. As I said, it's late at night. And why bother? Let the police deal with it. You know, why would you want to get out on the street like that and get your ass kicked? So there's a lot of violence going on. There's a lot of this.
pepper spray.
Police chasing people. Yeah, lock somebody up.
Let him go.
It's what you got to do, man. It's what you got to do.
Fucking commie.
Ah, see, now the tables are turning. Now the tables are turning. Interesting.
So early. Sorry? 10 to 9.
Bill West says someday someone is going to fall to the ground and pull a cord. Everyone within a 1-block radius will regret. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Are we coming to that? Are we there yet? Are we there yet in our alleged pseudo-democracy where elections don't matter anymore? And this is what happens when you lose the trust of the people. They start punching each other. Also, when you... this also happens when you create a virus and lay it out on the people. Look, the skateboard is the weapon. He doesn't need a... chanting "fuck Antifa." What else we got? So this is a good clip too. I don't know what it is. After action report. I'll give you the clip if you want to watch it. There's a lot of info in it. So if you want to watch that shit on your own, go ahead and do it. What else we got here? Looks like where are we? If you know DC, where are we right here? Are we at the
I don't know if they're going to rally and head
are
back
we
to
at the
square,
Lincoln
but
Monument
hear there's a
maybe?
lot of folks
I
back
think
there
we're at the
right now.
Lincoln Monument right now.
You know, he was like...
Nah, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know where we are.
Come on, man.
So it looks like Proud Boys got a couple of good punches in there. They got their jabs in. There's a lot of real fight scenes going on here. So let's continue. Continue down the road. So now let's look at the spin. All right. Now you see what I see, and I feel what you feel. I feel your something has to be done kind of thing, right? And but the mainstream media, that's not their job. Their job is to convince you that what you're seeing is fucking wrong. What you're seeing is radicals in the street, people refusing to accept the outcome of a free and fair, very, very integral election. That's what they're going to try to tell you. Right? They're not going to roll over. That's why I keep saying, like, people say, the pressure will be so intense from the people, but the pressure as well is the corporately owned and operated media. Guys like Jeff Bezos, who owns Washington Post. Like those guys, they're going to keep promoting the fact that the election was very fair and very integral, and they got Trump out. Right? Trump made enemies with these guys. So this is, for lack of a better term, the propaganda machine. Driving Mr. Donald, White House excursion reveals a presidency pushing up daisies. So they tried to make him like a weak guy, a lame duck. They're already lame ducking Trump. It was a jarring few minutes of seeing the world through Donald Trump's eyes. They don't call him President Trump. Eyes, and indulging his fantasies. Who is this, by the way? This is The Guardian, of course, The Guardian. As the White House pool reporter on Saturday, taking a turn to shadow the United States president for print media outlets, The Guardian found itself at the back of Trump's motorcade, rolling out of the executive mansion grounds and on Pennsylvania Avenue. About 10 a.m., the dozen black shiny vehicles. So Trump did that without warning. That's the smart way to do it, so that your adversaries can't line up to get you. So Trump did a surprise appearance. 10 a.m., dozen black shiny vehicles with flashing blue red lights were greeted by a sight seldom seen in Washington, a Democratic bastion. Hundreds of Trump supporters cheering and clapping, whistling and wooing, pinching the air and hailing their idol as if he had, in fact, won a glorious victory over Joe Biden. This is a mainstream media outlet refusing whatsoever to maybe acknowledge just a little bit that there was just a little bit of shenanigans going on there. Just a little bit, right? Open up an investigation and find out. What a difference from the previous Saturday when Trump returned from a round of golf to be jeered and booed by dozens of the Capitol who had just learned that he had been fired by the electorate. So there's the spin by The Guardian. Let's see what else we got. Here is his crow face from TYT.
Extremist Trump-supporting groups are planning a march in D.C. over the weekend to protest the reality of the election. Donald Trump lost, Joe Biden won.
And that is her reality right there. That's the summation of her reality. Crowface says that it's over, that there is no, TYT has never admitted election fraud. They said that, they never admit it, right? We knew that the exit polls were off during the Bernie Sanders days, but here is Crowface refusing to acknowledge any election fraud. I think what happens with these outlets is that they're now hedging their bets that Biden is going to be the president. They never liked Trump, so they'll hedge their bets and try to get on the good side of Biden so that they can get a foot in the door. They don't have their progressive candidate. They still have, a pipe dream that someday they're going to get Nina Turner or Tulsi Gabbard, in there as president or a Ro Khanna, right? Some progressive, star that wants, Ocasio-Cortez that wants to roll in the Green New Deal. This shit ain't going to happen, right? Because those they're not Bernie Sanders was about as close to a leader as they could have hoped for, but they didn't get that.
Joe Biden has 306 electoral votes. It's over. Put a fork in him. Trump's done. But anyway, they're going to go ahead and have their collective temper tantrum in D.C., and let me give you some details about it. The rallies, which include a Women for...
so that's TYT pissing all over the rally, saying it's fake. Here's another jack-off. Watch this guy.
3, 2, 1.
This is...
Hey, everybody, welcome in. It is just past 10 o'clock here. We're at Freedom Plaza, where the March for Trump is still a couple hours away, though, by the size of the crowd. We could be forgiven if you thought it was starting pretty soon here.
So this is a media outlet reporting while Trump's motorcade came flying by. Watch.
Live here, crowd's getting pretty loud. This is a big turn from where it was just a few hours earlier. We got out here early this morning. This plaza, Freedom Plaza, was empty. Now, it's hard to put an estimate on it, but it sure sounds like at least 1,000 demonstrators out here. Something's down below us on the street here. We can't quite see it. The crowd's pretty fired up about it. A couple people are running on the street. Let's see what comes out here if we can see it.
So again, we could use this for simple numbers. It's one outlet reporting on the caravan. It was unexpected. The media didn't know that Trump was going to do a drive-by. It's thousands of people. No evidence of 1 million people yet, but maybe today. Just maybe today. And there's Trump's motorcade. Again, another aerial shot of it. Because it wasn't advertised, right? If you happen to be there, Trump's motorcade, you got to see him, right? You got to see it.
Easily over a dozen law enforcement vehicles out here. A lot of these blacked out SUVs with lights on. It sure looks like I think it is him waving. It looks like a motorcade. Do you see him, Dave?
It looks like a motorcade. What the fuck does? What else could it be, you idiot?
It looks like President Donald Trump was here. Hang on, let's see what happens. It looks like they've stopped. All right, the motorcade's moving along.
What else we got?
Empty now. A very different story. The plaza's filling up.
See that bright brain full of activity?
And the commercial. That's your brain on YouTube.
Mine is the other one.
In all likelihood, we just saw it certainly appears a drive-by presidential election. Some have claimed that Some ballots were not counted properly. Some have disputed the results of the election altogether. The president himself and his campaign have filed multiple legal challenges disputing the results of the election in some states. Some of the people we talked to who are out today and some of the organizers of this event say that they're waiting for those court battles and those court issues to be resolved before they accept the results of this election.
So that's another outlet. Let's see one more, I think. Here's a negative spin one.
When President Trump leaves office in just 68 days, he'll return to the world of average citizen, a world without special privilege.
Now, here's the conspiracy theory that somehow Trump is going to be arrested, right? That's what they're now going to spin. Now he's a criminal. Right? Now they're going to try to paint Donald Trump as a criminal. And for the record, there is no American president that has ever left office. No American president that has ever left office and faced criminal prosecution. It doesn't happen. So I kept trying to tell you about Bill Clinton and his lovely wife, Hillary Clinton. It doesn't happen. Right? A sitting president has a license to steal for the rest of his life. He has, full vested power of an ex-president. Right? So that's what Trump will be if he's not sitting. Right? So, but here's a conspiracy theory that says legal and financial vulnerabilities await Trump.
Privileges and immunities of the presidency. And while President Trump has often been at the center of numerous lawsuits.
And I agree as well that Biden, Patriot Riff says Biden is illegitimate. Yeah. If what we're seeing is true, that the elections, that the numbers don't add up, that somehow miraculously in the middle of the night, Biden's numbers spike and Trump's numbers go the other way, no one's ever going to believe it. So why don't we do a recount? Why don't you just put the facts on the table, and we could let it go. Right?
Tonight we take a closer look at the wave of legal jeopardy that could be on the horizon and why a controversial potential self-pardon might not solve every coming legal test. Here's Devin Dwyer.
Hi, Donald John Trump.
For years, Donald Trump has used the presidency as a legal shield.
The worst presidential harassment in history.
But outside the White House, a new reality awaits.
He's an ordinary citizen. Full stop. I mean, we actually had an entire revolution.
Wrong. He's not an ordinary citizen. He's an ex-president. Right? So this is the spin. Trump is a criminal, and you're fucking sick in the head if you support this guy, right? Or you just support a recount, free and fair elections, right?
Against the idea of kingly prerogative and the idea that a king is above the law.
No former president has ever been criminally investigated or charged with a crime.
Correct. Now, the question, having said that no former president has ever been investigated or convicted of a crime, will that change on the Biden? Now, Trump vowed to lock her up, to drain the swamp, to criminally pursue his adversaries, right? But he didn't actually do it. He didn't actually get it done. James Comey's still walking around. Hillary Clinton's still walking around. Bill Clinton's still walking around. But John Podesta, Robbie Mook, the authors of Russiagate, still walking around. Executives at CNN, MSNBC, still walking around, right? So what swamp did Trump really drain? Now, on the other hand, because the Democrats are so dirty and so despicable and so in the pocket of the deep state, will they flip it on Trump? I would say no. I would say that once Trump is effectively out of office, they'll pretty much forget about him. They'll just lobby to, destroy his character. But will Trump ever be criminally prosecuted? Abso-fucking-lutely not.
But Trump will leave office implicated in multiple active investigations into personal conduct from before the presidency.
There are credible allegations that Donald Trump has engaged in tax fraud, bankruptcy fraud, probate fraud, and that's unprecedented. We've never had an allegation of pre-presidential criminal conduct follow a president after he leaves office.
In New York, Manhattan District Attorney Cyrus Vance is leading a criminal probe into Trump's business practices. While Vance has not spelled out specific allegations of wrongdoing, he's seeking 8 years of Trump's tax returns. Last summer, the U.S. Supreme Court said Trump did not have immunity from subpoenas.
And there's no reason for the president's accounting firm, Mazars, or former accounting firm, to resist those subpoenas anymore.
How critical are those documents? What could they show?
The tax returns.
So this is the Democrats on the charge, right? They're on the move. They're lining up to paint Trump as a tax evader, as a thief, as a crook, as a illegitimate president, as a racist, as a bigot, as a warmonger. That's what they're doing, right? When the Democrats are all of the above. So in my opinion, no, a sitting president will never, ever go to jail.
Would be important for Cyrus Vance to explore, but probably triangulating those tax returns with other sources of financial information that he's been able to obtain or is still trying to obtain.
Trump is the first president in 40 years to refuse to release his taxes.
So,
according to the New York Times, decades of Trump's tax return data it obtained appears to show the billionaire businessman paid no federal income tax in 10 of the last 15 years. And starting in 2010, claimed an income tax refund of $72.9 million, which the Times says is now at the center of an
So now that'll be the theme. They're going to continue to go after Trump and his taxes and his money and paint him the whole time, right? Don't talk about a free and fair election. Talk about Trump's taxes.
Now to D.C., where Trump supporters have gathered for demonstrations at Freedom Plaza. Billed as the Million MAGA March, several supporters are scheduled to rally against the election being over and the projected Biden-Harris win.
They're rallying that's even a bad spin, right? They're saying, she said that they're gathering to confirm that the election is over. That's what she said.
Being over and the projected against the election being over. Several supporters are scheduled to rally against the election being over and the projected Biden-Harris win. I want to bring in CBS national correspondent Errol.
They're protesting against the Biden-Harris win. Okay.
Barnett, who is near the rally. Errol, good to see you. Show us what's going on where you are.
Well, Lana, these around me are some of the president's most passionate supporters. This event in Freedom Plaza is billed as one to support President Trump, organized in just the past week as a way of showing force in the wake of his election loss. Now, I can see a few thousand people here. You can see everybody with their flags visiting from places like Tennessee, West Virginia, Maryland, and they're here because they're upset with the projection that Joe Biden will be the next president. I spoke with one of the organizers of this event as I tried to share with her the confirmed information from the Trump administration that the election was in fact secure, and she refused to accept it. And in fact, many of—
So you have to accept what we tell you. We have the evidence. We have it in our pocket that says that the election was free and fair. What the fuck don't you understand? Why don't you understand that? Right? That's his position. We have the evidence. We're the media. Don't you know who we are? We're CBS.
Many of the people here have had social media pages taken down because they're supporting things like stop the counting of legally cast ballots. And they're very upset that their pages have been taken down. So around me, you're seeing some of the supporters.
Right, they wouldn't be, if CBS page got taken down, they wouldn't be upset. When people, like all the QAnon people that got axed, I got knocked down 2 weeks before the election. This channel was down. I was silenced. Well, not really silenced. I was on the other channel, Marcus Conte News. But that's what they try to do. They don't promote you. They don't allow you free speech. They try to shoot you in the kneecap. So you shut up.
Tell you that I've seen a group known as the Proud Boys, other white nationalist groups and extremist groups that are expected to be here as well and have been promoting their participation online. The event is only a few hours long. There have not been any major clashes yet, but they still plan to march from here in Freedom Plaza to the Supreme Court. The overall message they do not accept the election results as they've been projected by the major networks, including CBS.
Errol, these are very large crowds from what we're seeing. And you mentioned the Proud Boys, that, of course, being the group that President Trump was asked to denounce in a question about white supremacy, have been promoting this event, that they're involved.
Message. Oh, we Buffy? Buffy. Buffy the vampire. All right, well, I think we're back. Pow. I got to play the buffer song. See, that's what again, YouTube working against you, trying to knock your numbers down, trying to get you to go away, right? But anyway, so.
President Trump this morning, before he made a drive to play golf, went past this crowd and was beaming. He was smiling. And you could see a few hundred of them running up to the president's motorcade to cheer and show their support.
So we saw that. Let's hear it. It's interesting what the commentator is saying, because it's so tilted one side. It's unbelievable.
The problem.
Sure, well, for
yelling at you that you are part of, emotionally heated and yelling at you that you are part of the problem.
Sure, well, for us it's just part of the job, but I can tell you that we have...
Well, what job? The part of the job about not telling the truth about an election in the United States? Not giving the facts about what's actually happening?
Had to hire...
Yeah, you can keep that job.
2 security members to be with us as we move through these crowds. You can see I'm wearing a mask, and the pandemic has only worsened across the country. But as you look at the crowd around me, there are very few people wearing masks. There is almost no social distancing here. So it's just...
There's no social distancing at any rally thus far. It's impossible, right? And he keeps touching his mask, right? Attack the mask, right? See, because we care about America, we have our mask on, right? That's how we care.
One representation of how some people around the country feel and believe what President Trump has been saying. The question I've asked them is, will you accept the results? Will you accept a potential Trump loss if and when it is confirmed? And the organizers of this event say they don't think they have to just yet. So it's important for us to show this to you.
So that's the media. Why don't you accept the loss? Why don't you accept the fact that Trump lost? See, we have the numbers, 306 to 214, right? That's what they're saying, right?
And to share with the world what's happening in Washington today, because it is representative of how many people
so Mark Conte reporting.
Despite the election results.
Oh, right. Shit, man.
Well, thank
wow.
you, Errol. I'm going to give you one request. If you can ask people out there if they would change their opinion if President Trump conceded the election, I'll check back in with you later. Thank you.
That ain't going to happen. Trump's not going to concede shit, right? So anyway, Mark Conte reporting. Thank you all for joining me. Wow. So we got one more day, right? One more day of the MAGA March, million MAGA March in Washington, D.C. If you're close by, get your ass out there, right? If you're in D.C. area, Maryland, wherever you are, get on a bus, start driving your car towards Washington, clog up the arteries of Washington, D.C. with your body and your car and your mouth, right? And show your love, right? Because this may be the last chance you get, man. This may be the last of it. This may be the last of it. Thanks everybody for joining me. Thank you, Vinny DiMartini on the chat. Thank you, Bill West, for your clips. Martin Gafridas here. Ban everything. Vinny DiMartini on the wrench. Awaken Alliance is here. Ban everything. Buddha Girl. Hello, Buddha Girl. Love Buddha Girl. Joseph Mama. Jason Walsh. Jason Walsh is here. Thomas Robinson. Angie TV. Right. Thank you all for joining me. And we'll be back, man. We continue. The work continues of exposing the corruption that is American elections. I can dig it. Have a good day, everybody. Have a good day, everybody. Peace. Love. Peace out.